Hi, welcome to Painter Saturday. I'm just going to go through how to create an abstract design like this on the PC or Mac. Now I'm using a Mac. Now how do you do it? We use gradients. That's the great start point for this. But you can use patterns, type, images, anything can be used as a great start point. So let's just remove that, just delete that layer. Just go over here, interactive gradient. Click there and you'll see along here, along this control bar, you can select preset. Just select any of these presets. I'm just going to go with one that's obviously got a lot of gradient 03. It's got a lot of colour, and that's what I want, lots of different stops. Going linear, and also I'm using merge mode, default, and apply it. So there it is. Now you can reposition it, you can move it around, you decide, you know what, I don't like that, I can put it there, move it around, but I'm going to stick with that. A great feature to create that really lovely abstract design that I had earlier, to make it sort of like Painter-like, is to use this feature and Express Paint. It's a feature I think is one of the best features they've added for a long time, but one they've not really extended. And unfortunately, they've only added about 6 or 7 presets. It would be nice if there was more. So just click there and you can see what you got. You've got jittery strokes, you've got heavy dabs, diagonal strokes, you've got a lot of great options. And also you've got, you notice down the bottom, you've got size and amount. So you can modify the number of brush strokes and also the size of it. So you can make some really abstract, very noise-like designs as well from any of these presets. Now I've got the preview off because what happens, it takes a few seconds of processing, but simply select any of those. And I'm going to go with this one, soft dabs. But as it's not on, if you don't want anything, just go with none. You've probably got that as your default. If you've got that default, it will not do anything. But as soon as you apply it, so there, commit the gradient, because you can see that it's interactive, so you need to commit it. And now it will process it. And you can see the result of that Express Paint. Very, very useful. You can create a variety of things, but it gives a sort of a roughness to it, which I think is lacking if you just apply a normal gradient. So once you've done that, what you then can do is you can, of course, manipulate it with maybe some other effects. Don't have to, of course, keep it just like that. You can go to effects and you can do tone, apply surface texture. That's an option. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over here. Now you could use any of the other selection tools, but I'm going to use a lasso because I'm just going to create very, very and it can be any design. And that's why it's completely, you can't really reproduce this game, so I'm not going to get exactly the same result each and every time. So I've just got this selection, and that's selecting that gradient. So you've got the greens, all the way reds, all the blues, and the red there. So I'm using that, and I need to put that into the pasteboard, copy it to the clipboard, or paste buffer, as it's called in Painter. So edit and copy. You could obviously use Control-C, etc. Now, deselect it because I don't want to apply the effect to the selection. So make sure you've got the entire image like that. And then you can go here to Effects and down to Esoterica. Go to Blobs. Now it's tucked away in Esoterica. I don't know, have you used this many times? Blobs. Sort of tucked away in it doesn't really make much sense why they've tucked it away like that. I think it could be rename it, but that's what they've gone with for many years. And you'll see what happens. The default, unfortunately, is to apply the current colour. And you can see I've got a number of blobs, 300. Now your default might be 50, and it's probably a more sensible one. 50 or 60 is perfectly reasonable. And you can change it. You can just type 6, and you can see 6. There you are. But you can see the background as well. So it doesn't remove everything. You just got that image and the blobs applied to it. But that's the current colour. But you've also got pattern, whatever the selected current pattern is. But you've also got paste buffer, and that's what you just copied into paste buffer, that gradient. So paste buffer. And as soon as you do that, you can see you've got this abstract design. Straight away, you can also change the size. You can turn around and say, I want size 2. It makes it slightly smaller. To be honest, you think it'll be even tinier than that. But I think like 20 is fine. If you don't want it to keep doing it, taking it time to do it, you can always turn the preview off. So you can just deselect it and then put the preview on at the end if you want to do that. You also can reset it back to the default. I'm going to go with maximum size of 300 and subsample. Now you can change that. You can make it obviously the greater the value, it's going to take more processing power. I don't know if there's a limit. To be honest, you could put it up to say 10. It might take a few seconds longer. It will just process. It might turn around and say, no, that's too much. But it will obviously add some impact. Also, you've got this random seed. So you've got this design, so you've got this streak here. Now I've just got that streak here. I like it. I love the design. But what I can do, I can click. And then you notice that line has gone. You've got lines elsewhere, but you can click it multiple times. So literally thousands of different designs. Actually, I like that one. I'm happy with that one. So paste buffer, 60, go with that. If you click it again, do any other changes, it will rejig itself and you'll end up with a different design. That one I like. And you can see the original design and the gradient now done as a blob. And it's distorted it, waved, it's painted it onto your image. Now I think that's really great, but I always like to quickly go to, effects, not to actually make it go like that. I don't know what suddenly made it decide to shrink it away like that. Sometimes it does. I quite notice on this application, suddenly it zooms in, you suddenly get a tiny little screen. You think, what? Why has it done that? Just suddenly randomly decides, you know what, I'm going to make that picture very small. But what you can do, again, you can go to effects, you've got surface, you can go apply surface texture. Now I think that's a great one. So you can go here. Now default again, unfortunately in Painter, is paper, but you can also go to image luminance and then you can create that sort of effect. You can create some very interesting 3D designs simply by just dragging that over, move it at different angles. Obviously the colour, you can change the colour of course. You can change it there. Now some are better than others. Go with that. And you can change of course depth, invert it, and much more. But what I want to do is not that, but I wanted to show you, you can do a little bit more with the grading and create some interesting designs. But go to effects, and you can go down to tonal colour, control, and equalize. So equalize, and at this point, default doesn't do anything. What you need to do, just drag that in, so it makes it slightly darker there. You can see it darker there, and I'm going to go this way, and I'm just going to put it back there. And you can then see your design and click OK. And there it is, very abstract design that would look great on the wall. Brilliant backgrounds. You could do, I mean, this is sort of painting you probably see, you know, at the National Gallery or something. Maybe not, but still, I think it creates really some very odd, surreal effects. And of course, what you can also do is once you've done this, you can go over here and you can select the lasso selection again. And you can then select an area like that, any area. Doesn't have to be straight line or anything, just a selection like that. Again, edit and copy. And that is going to be the source for the design. So select none. And then you of course can apply the blobs again to create yet more designs. This sort of feature is literally an infinite amount of creativity that you can just work on design after design. And of course you can always go at any point, file, and go down to exports. Oh, that's export, I don't want to do that. I always wonder why export, it only gives AI. Illustrated format. Very strange. You can use save as. Many applications use the export. And sometimes I have a tendency just to go to export, assuming that it will be there. But no, it's save image as. Now you could go with the default format, a RIF. Of course, you can go Photoshop, PSD format, TIFF, JPEG, if you want a fairly small file. Bitmaps, there's some really unusual ones at the bottom here. Paint, Paintbrush, PCX. I'm not certain who uses that anymore. But you can save your work and then of course continue to create more designs. Or maybe add the gradient on top of this. Go and apply gradient, different blending modes, etc. You can create a variety of designs using this approach. Well, I hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions about it? Any things? Have you ever used this feature, the blobs feature? Do you think that it's a great feature to use? Would you use it with pattern image designs as well as maybe gradients? I don't know. I think it's just a brilliant feature that I can use lots and lots of resources to create literally infinite amount of abstract designs like this, as well as some interesting warped designs. So if it's an image you can do much the same. A warped image of sort of a photo, you can really get some very abstract, like unusual, wow designs. Thank you much. Bye.